back to the Jessie Knits podcast. My name is Jessie and I'm going to be your host. You can find me on Ravelry. My username there is Hokie Knits. That's Hokie Knits. And I'm also on Instagram. My Instagram username is Jessie Does Stuff. Today is May 13th, 2014, and this is episode 3. I'm not quite sure what I'm going to title this episode just yet. I guess we'll just have to wait and see what happens. So I have a lot to talk about. I have some Ravelry related things, finishes. Yes, I have finished. Some works in progress. Of course, there's Stash Enhancement. At this point, I may need to rename the podcast the Stash Enhancing Podcast because apparently that's pretty much most of my knitting. But I'm not going to rename it just to let you know. And then some Jessie Reads stuff that we need to talk about. So I guess we'll jump right into it. So week in review, or weeks in review, I guess, since this is a bi-weekly podcast. Work. That's pretty much how you can define the last 2 weeks for me. I worked a lot. The weekend after the airing of the second episode, I think I put in 30 hours over the course of 2 days. It was chaotic, crazy busy. I just ended up working a lot, and I made a lot of money, and I needed to do so, but it was really exhausting. And so the week after that, I took a lot of time to recuperate and try to gear up for this past weekend, which was Mother's Day here in the United States. And for those of you that haven't worked in a restaurant before, Mother's Day is the number one busiest, craziest holiday for a restaurant, just because a lot of people tend to take mom out for the day. And this Mother's Day was no exception. It was busy from the moment we opened the doors until the moment we shut the doors, and it was nonstop. There was no. Typically on a Sunday, we'll have like this lull of people there, just like a wave that's busy and then it comes down and then it's busy and then it comes back down. And Sunday was not like that. It was just high maximum intensity. It was crazy. It was bananas. It was a good day for me personally, business-wise, but it was really, really busy. And so that's pretty much what happened these last 2 weeks. I did on Saturday. I don't work Saturdays anymore because I have class on Saturdays coming up for the summer session. And this past Saturday, I actually got to go up north to Northern Virginia to visit my mom, celebrate her birthday as well as Mother's Day. And surprisingly, my sister was in town to hang out as well, and she has 3 girls, and 2 of them are 4. They are twins, and the youngest is, she'll be 2 in October, so she's about 18 months old. And it was awesome to get to spend time with them. They live out in West Virginia, and I rarely get to see them, except for when Ashley comes over here, and so it was really nice to try to catch up and spend time with the girls. It was good time. So, that's pretty much all that's happened these last couple of weeks. These next couple of weeks are going to get a little bit more interesting because my summer classes start tomorrow. I have one class on Wednesday evenings and another on Saturdays, pretty much all day Saturday. So we'll see how it all goes. So let's get into the things. First of all, if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back and watching all over again. I cannot express how grateful I am to you for watching. It definitely makes this all worth it. And if you are new, welcome. I'm hoping that you'll come back, and I hope that you enjoy the show. So then, some introductions. We have 3 newbies who introduced themselves on the introductions thread in the Ravelry group, and they are Sue from Canada, who is also part of the Two Tangled Skeins podcast. And we also have Vicki Lynn from Detroit. I don't know that I've mentioned this to you all before, but I am originally from Michigan. I lived just outside of Detroit for quite some time before we moved to Virginia, so hey, Vicki Lynn. Vicki Lynn, in her introduction, talked about spinning and about how she did a whole lot of other crafting and then recently picked up spinning, and how basically I'm not going to be able to avoid it, that it may be something that I'm interested in the future. And I have a feeling that she is absolutely right. I watch a lot of podcasts, and they have a spinning portion of their podcast, and so it's very attractive craft to me. But I'm going to hold off for as long as I can, and we'll see what happens there. So welcome, Vicki Lynn. And then we also have another Sue, and she is from Roanoke, Virginia, which is very close to Blacksburg. So hello there, and thanks for introducing yourselves, ladies. I look forward to seeing what you're working on and getting to know you more. So yeah. Next we have questions, and so I opened up a thread in the Ravelry group where you all had an opportunity to ask me whatever you want. Feel free to do that. Just ask whatever you like. And we have 2.5 questions this week. So first, Suan asked, what is my go-to book or website if I need to learn a new stitch? And currently, I don't have many books to go to. I did recently purchase the Knit to Flatter from, I believe it's Amy Herzog, and so I'm going to be looking through that. But as far as new stitches, for me, my go-to is YouTube at this point. There are several really useful resources for new stitches. Very Pink Knits and New Stitch a Day are 2 channels on YouTube that cover a long range of new stitches, and so that's typically where I go to if I run into something that either for whatever reason I can't remember how to do a KFB, or it's a new stitch that I have never seen before. So YouTube is pretty much my resource at this point. If anybody has any recommendations for useful resources such as books or websites, I'd be happy to check them out and see if they work for me. But at this point, I'm just going to stick to YouTube. And then she also asked a question that is really difficult for me to answer. She asked, how am I inspired by a certain project based on color or pattern? And I happen to have a very vague answer for this. I tend to stalk the top 20 patterns, like the what's hot right now on Ravelry, and I'll check out whatever is up there. A lot of things end up on my queue that way. A lot of stashing happens from that. But as far as patterns go, I don't really have like a set guidelines for what I'm looking for when I'm interested in a pattern. I talked to you guys recently about the Salted by Alicia Plummer, and that is one that just, like, arrow to the heart. I was so excited about that pattern just immediately. And I haven't cast that on yet, but for whatever reason, that was just a really attractive pattern to me. Recently, I'm also interested in the Pendulum by Amy Miller. Amy Miller had a sale going on, like a thank you sale where you could get one of her patterns for free. I missed it by about 4 hours. I was so sad. But the pendulum is a shawl, and it's just 2 colors that end up coming together. I'm sure that you've seen it. It's a really popular pattern, even without the sale. And that's something that I'm looking at doing in the near future. I tend to be one of those people that follows the crowd a little bit, and I'm not afraid to say that. Whatever tends to be popular with some people, I appreciate the aesthetic that they're going for. I will say that I do like lesser known patterns, but for the most part, I think as I'm learning how to do things, because I'm just such an infant knitter, I'm okay with going with the patterns that are tried and true, that people know, and have experience with these patterns. Yeah. Colors, rainbow. I mean, just a rainbow. I do tend to lean towards the cool colors, blues and purples. But then there's a lot of brighter colors in my stash, and so it's a wide range. So, Suan, I hope that helped answer your question. I have, like I said, at this point, I don't have any set guidelines for what I'm looking for when I'm seeking inspiration, but yeah. Oh, I will say this. I do like loose flowing, comfortable. I'm not one that's too attracted to very close fitting sweaters, jackets, vests, that sort of a thing. I like things to be comfortable. I don't like to show off my curves so much. Now, I'm wearing this very fitted tee today, and so that's sort of opposite of what I just told you, but knitwear, I like it a little bit with positive ease. So that's that. And then Vicky Lynn asked about audiobooks, and she asked me if I had ever tried audiobooks because I'm struggling with this balance of reading and knitting and everything else that I have to sort of finagle into my schedule. And I have tried audiobooks. I have an account with Audible. And I have several audiobooks downloaded. But I will say this, that as a book reviewer, I have noticed within myself that I tend to rate and review books that I have listened to the audio lower than I would have if I had read it. And I know this to be true because I'm currently listening to a book that I have already read, and while I have heard things, I'm hearing things that I didn't necessarily recognize the first time that I read it. I still feel it's not the same story. It's very different. It's a very different experience. Because they have the narrator has different inflections in their voice than I may have heard in my head. So I do listen to audiobooks, and I do listen to them while I'm knitting, but I typically go with audiobooks that I have already read because I don't necessarily want the narrator's style to influence how I feel about the book. Like I want to have an opinion about the book based on the book and not necessarily what an unrelated person has to say about it. So I hope that helps. Like I said, I do listen to audiobooks, and I enjoy the ability to do 2 things at once, but it's not my go-to source for reading. So there's that. Okay, next thing. Somebody had mentioned previously about doing some knit-alongs or craft-alongs, and I have finally put together a plan for a knit-along. I will talk about this more in the next episode, but because I am only a bi-weekly podcast, I thought I should mention it now so you can start planning and trying to figure out what maybe you want to get done. And so this will be a June knit-along or crochet along. So we're going to do knit or crochet, yarn-based. So I guess it's sort of a craft along. Kind of. Okay, so, and the theme is new to you. So this is a new podcast, and almost everything that I do is a new technique to me. So this is going to be a new to you knit along. And there are 3 criteria for new. We're going to do new designer, so a designer that you haven't done before, a new yarn, and this does not mean company, but either by weight or by materials. So, for instance, if you've never knit with linen before, or you've never knit with 100% merino before, or you've never knit with 75-25 merino nylon, that qualifies as new to you yarn. And then the other one was a new technique. So this could mean beading, this could mean picot edging, this could mean interlock, this could mean increases and decreases. It covers a wide range of things. So, like I said, I'll talk more about it in the next podcast. But so you will have a potentially 3 entries, and I'm going to talk to you about mine once I get to future plans. So that's that. There will be a prize at the end that I will draw on the first podcast episode after the end of June. I don't know what that prize is yet. I am contemplating several things, and so I will let you know in the next podcast just exactly what I come to. So that's that. Okay, so now that we've chattered on and on about things, and 17 minutes are gone, let's start talking about knitting. Guys, I have a finish. It is a new finish. I am so excited. I knew that I was going to finish it for this podcast, but I'm still nonetheless very excited about it. So, what I have here to show you, I'm sure that if you've seen previous episodes, you will not be terribly surprised by this either. My sockhead hat is done. Wow, that is showing up all sorts of crazy colors. There we go. That's better. Super bright and fun, isn't it? So this is my sockhead. I think that I was probably somewhere around here at the last podcast, and so I just zoomed all the way up to the top, and then did my crown decreases and finished her up. So there is the sockhead. So this was knit out of Manos del Uruguay in their Alegria base, which is a 75-25 merino nylon, and it is the Colibri colorway. And the pattern, it's a free pattern, so I can tell you this, said to go 9 inches on the stockinette. I just went to 8 because I just decided that that was a better fit for me. I did not block this because I didn't want to, and I really like how it is just as it is. And I'm going to try it on because I just love you guys enough to do that for you. So here we go. And I like to roll the brim. So my hair is not terribly cooperative today. So that's that. Let's pull it down a little bit because I don't have bangs. And so there we go. So I like how slouchy it is, but not too slouchy. And so that's my socket hat. And I did this for the Fibertown Autism Awareness Knit Along. And basically all we had to do was knit something out of a yarn that was, or we had to do something. It was a craft along. It wasn't necessarily a knit along. Something that was 2 or more bright colors. So I think that qualifies. Those blues are bright. And it's all done. So there's my socket hat. When I finished it on Saturday morning, and it was a solid 90 degrees, and I didn't care. I wore it all over the place. My boyfriend asked me if I was being a hipster, and I said, "What is a hipster?" And he said, "I don't know, but you look like one." I said, "Oh, well, okay, whatever." So there's my sock head, and I am looking forward to winter when I can wear it all the time. I made the mistake of taking this into work with me while I was working on it. I went to go have some lunch at work, and I was knitting on it while I was waiting for my food. And unfortunately, about 10 of the girls that I work with came up to me and like, "Oh, you knit, that's so cool, will you knit me something?" And I'm like, yes, but maybe later. So anyway, there's the sockhead hat. So let's move on to works in progress. First of all, let's go with the eggnog. So this is the eggnog, and it is by Thea Coleman, or Baby Cocktails. It is a top-down raglan cardigan. I've shown you this before. I haven't made near enough progress. Wow, that's a lot wider. So I got new needles with a longer cable between, and I'm not having the issues with it coming undone anymore, which is good. And let's see, I've got the little locking stitch marker so that you can see how much progress I've made. So there it is. So 7 or 8 rows, not a whole lot. I still haven't cast off for the or separated for the sleeves yet. I still have about 6 rows to do that. I was severely distracted by all of the other projects and getting my sockhead hat done that this did not see near as much love. And each row is quite a slog, especially the pearl back rows. So anyway, so that's that. That's the eggnog. And then I have my Twinkle Twinkle Baby Blanket. And I put in some serious progress on this the first week after episode 2, but I haven't really touched it since. So there's the stitch marker. And I'm going to move this down to the cable so that you can see the blanket in all of its tininess. So the color's showing up a little bit better there. And I don't know if you're going to be able to see, So there's little stars. They're teeny tiny little stars. There. Anyway, so that's that. It's not showing up just because the yarn, I think, is just so dark. And it is so beautiful and bright out these days. So anyway, there's that. Making progress, slow but steady. Because I have till September, I'm not making this much of a priority these days. Although I probably should, because the rows just, they keep getting bigger. So I will be working on this seriously in the next week. So this is, this is the Twinkle Twinkle Baby Blanket by Helen Stewart. It's knit out of Malabrigo sock yarn in the Cordovan colorway, and I'm knitting it on US size 5s, 3.75 millimeters. No, I'm just never going to get the color right, so you can see that. So there's that. And then I made some progress on my hitchhiker. Not a whole lot, though. I took this with me while I was visiting with my mom and my nieces, and that was error number 1. Because, as it turns out, 4-year-olds really like a ball of pretty, colorful yarn, and they want to play with it. And so I had to put it away a lot sooner than I had intended. So there's my stitch marker, and as you can see, I've done a few rows. I finished up one additional tooth, and I've got most of the next one done. So this is going to have to be some away from the kids knitting. So this is the Hitchhiker. It's by Martina Behm, and I am knitting this out of, I told you my nieces played with the ball. Okay, so it's a mess. It's kind of a mess. This is Leading Men Fiber Arts Showstopper in their No Good Deed colorway. So as you can see, I mean, it's a disaster. They ruined it. And you know, I never see them, and so I don't want to be the one to tell them no, but yeah, it's kind of messy. So anyway, it still works. It still knits. And so there's my hitchhiker. And I am knitting that on size US 4's 3.5 millimeters. So then, I started up something new. And I knew I was going to, so it's not really like a cast-on-itis or anything like that. So what I have started here is the Game of Thrones Mystery Knit Along, or the Stormborn Shawl Knit Along. And this is by Kristen Ashbaugh Helmreich, and I finished up Clue 1 yesterday. So I'm just going to show you one side so that you can see that. Am I showing you the right side? Yeah, there we go. So this is a very lacy, lots of fun pattern. And I am knitting this out of the Suggested Yarn, which is a specially dyed colorway built for this knit along, for this pattern, and it is Lorna's Laces Shepherd Sock Multi in the Fire and Blood colorway. And so here it is in the ball. Oh, pardon the dog hair. Sorry about that, guys. Unfortunately, I cannot keep my Thor from influencing my yarn. Anyway, there we go. That's better. So there's that. And it's nice reds and oranges and blacks, and I love it. And this is based off the character Daenerys Stormborn, or Daenerys Targaryen, depending on what you like to call her. And I don't know that you were able to see it too well, but right now we're making dragon scales, since she's the mother of dragons. So that's pretty cool. It's a lot of fun. Clue 2 came out on Sunday, and so I was frantically trying to play catch up. And this week I'm hoping to get all the way caught up through Clue 2, so that by Sunday evening I can get started on Clue 3. So there's that. I'm really, really liking this. It's my first time using lace, although I will tell you that along with a lot of people involved in this knit along, I'm not a huge fan of the highly variegated yarn for this. I think that a semi-solid probably, or a tonal, would look better, just because you lose the pattern a little bit with the variegation. It's a little too much. So if I do this again, I may do another one. I may do it in a different color. So anyway, there is that, and that is also on US 4's 3.5 millimeters. So then, I guess I will tell you about my future plans. And this coincides with a couple of things. Okay, so first of all, cast on not till June 1st. This is for two things. I'm going to do this for Camp Loopy, Project 1, and it is also for the craft along that we're getting started in the Ravelry group. And so I'm going to be doing the Out of Darkness by Boo Knits. It's a lace weight shawl. It's beautiful. I've seen so many fantastic creations with this pattern, and I'm very excited. A little nervous because it encompasses 3 new to me's. I have never knit with lace weight. I have never knit a Boo Knits, which from what I understand are pretty intense, and I have never done any beading. So that is it's gonna be quite the project for me. But I'm really anxious to do it. So it is also my Camp Loopy project. So Camp Loopy, as many of you probably know, is gearing up. and it's a big team effort project. There's 3 projects over the course of the summertime, and so if you are participating in Camp Loopy, it is Loop Week. I don't know if that's the right term, but it's Camp Week on the Loopy U website, and so you get 20% off your purchase of your yarn that you're going to use of one skein, I think. I'm not really too hip on the details here. On your yarn for your project 1. And then by purchasing that yarn, you're assigned to a glamper, because this season we are glamour camping. And so we've got fancy shindigs and cool campers and things like that. So pretty cool. So I ordered my Camp Loopy Project 1 yarn, and I got my Camp Loopy pin. And I have been assigned to glamper number 5, which is pretty fantastic. The glamper, which is this little guy right here, ours is purple. Purple happens to be one of my favorite colors. That's why I'm wearing it today. And so really looking forward to cast on for that. So I guess, shall we talk about the stash? Let's talk about the stash. Okay. I got more stash than I meant to. Again, I'm hoping that, I know that I'm reaching a lull here. I know that it's going to calm down right quick. I still have some on the way, but nonetheless, I'm slowing down. So, first off, I'll just show you the Game of Thrones Mystery Knit Along is a 2 skein project, so here's the other skein. Gorgeous, isn't it? And this is a Jimmy Beans Wool exclusive, so if you want to participate or you want this yarn, that's the place to go. And like I said, this is Fire and Blood, and this is an 80/20 superwash merino, 20% nylon. So there's that. And then my Camp Loopy project slash new to you knit along is this gorgeous skein right here. This is Swan's Island Natural Colors collection, and this is their lace weight, and it is 50% fine merino, 50% tusset silk, and the colorway here is Lapis, which I am just obsessed with. So this first project is to relate your project to a character or scene or general overall movie, etc. for just try to relate a project to that. And so this is going to be my Karu. Karu is a character from the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy, and she is most noted for her blue hair. She wears a necklace of teeth, and she has hamsas, which are eyes tattooed into the palms of her hands. So there we go. And the reason I chose the Out of Darkness is because I'm going to do the shawl in blue to represent her hair. The beads are a bone / white colored. I don't have them. They're way over there and I'm not going off camera. White colored beads to represent the teeth. And then there are, because it's a lace weight shawl, it is, there's lots of eyelets and to represent the hamsas. And so this will be my Karu. And my project page, I already have it set up. It's called Out of Eretz. Eretz is the world of the Chimera and Angels in the Daughter of Smoke and Bone trilogy. So I'm really excited. I think that it's going to be a fantastic Karu. So there's that. And then, you guys, I talked to you guys last week about the socks that I was going to do. I was going to do some plain vanilla socks with the Tapping Tootsies Summer Breeze. And then the Mystic Spirals socks took off. The Mystic Spirals by Josh Ricks, Gina Drix Designs. Also the Sword of a Knitter podcast. And I saw them, and I saw some people were raving about the pattern, about how really it is pretty simple, and about how much fun they are. So I had to get some self-striping. It was a no-brainer. So I bought some self-striping. Okay, so I have 2 skeins here, and I have another one on the way. The first one is Desert Vista Dye Works, and this is in their Viso, which is a 75-25 superwash merino nylon. And this is in the Summer Harvest colorway, which I think is lots of fun. So that's that. I don't know that this will be Mystic Spiral socks, but I thought just some self-striping would be fun. So that's that. And then I also got, and this is a lot of fun, and I hope that my camera can handle this because it's pretty intense. This is String Theory Colorworks in their Continuum base. Oh yeah, that's pretty accurate representation. This is Strontium 90. And this, I think, will be my Mystic Spirals. This is an 80-10-10 MCN. And I just love that. I love how intense and radioactive it looks. It's so fun. So that's that. And then this will be secret knitting. I won't be able to show you guys this until it is done and received. I am making a something for a friend who may or may not watch the podcast. I'm not entirely sure. So I'm just going to show you the yarn. It's another fun blue. Very similar to the Lapis. This is Knit Picks Gloss, which is 70-30 merino silk. And it is in the Winter Night colorway. And I have 4 of them. So that's that. And then with regards to my eggnog sweater, I started to get a little bit panicked. I'm about to join in my 5th ball of yarn. I haven't even cast it off for the sleeves yet, and I have the whole body to do. And so I don't really have any interest in playing yarn chicken. So I went ahead and bought 3 more skeins, or 3 more balls, I guess, of Knit Picks Swish Worsted in the Dove Heather colorway. And thank goodness I decided not to do a hand-dyed yarn for this sweater because this is much easier to color match. And it does. I checked it with the skeins that I have, and so it works out fine. And then my last, well, I have 2 more. My last stashing, my boyfriend and I bought this house about a year ago, and we still have yet to do any window treatments. We don't have curtains just yet. We're trying to do this one step at a time, and so window treatments are high on the list but lower on the list than several other things. And I thought, you know what, I'm gonna knit some curtains, and I found a really cute pattern for, at least for the bathroom, and it's a Knit Picks design, and I just went ahead and bought the yarn to do it. And so I bought Knit Picks Shine Sport. Ooh, that's showing up way more yellow than it is. Let's see. Nope. Okay, well, that's way more yellow than it really is. This is in the Clementine colorway. Shine Sport is 60% Pima cotton, 40% modal. And I have 6 of them. Yeah, those are way more gold than they actually are. They're really, really orange. I asked my boyfriend what color I should do, and he said, well, we like orange and maroon, don't we? Oh, okay. So there's that. And so these will be a curtain for my bathroom before too long. And then my last bit of stashing isn't really yarn, but I think it's lots of fun anyway. I bought some sock blockers, since I'm going to start doing some socks. And these are from the Loopio. So there we go. So that's the stash, guys. I'm sorry that took so long. My stashing should be coming down here within the next coming weeks and episodes. So then, let's talk about Jessie Reeds. I have barely read anything in the last few days, few weeks, just because of knitting and working and everything else going on. But I do have a couple of Jessie Reads related things to talk to you about. The first one is currently going on, and it is the Bout of Books Readathon. And it is hosted by a couple of girls, and they do it 3 times a year. And basically what it is, it's a no-stress read-along, readathon, rather, where you just read as much as you can between yesterday, Monday the 12th, through Sunday the 18th, midnight to midnight. And there's lots of challenges that happen, and there's reading sprints that happen on Twitter, and it's a lot of fun. It's no stress, but it's like something that you can set a goal for. And so I am participating in the Bout of Books. However, I have failed miserably thus far. I haven't read anything towards the readathon just yet, but that's my plan once I finish recording today. The second thing I want to talk to you about is BEA, which stands for Book Expo America. And this is a conference that comes up every year, and it is in New York City. And it is a conference that I've wanted to attend for a couple of years now, and I'm finally going to get to go. It's a birthday present from my boyfriend and his family and my family. They've all sort of compiled a chunk of change to send me to New York City for 4 days to attend this conference, and I am so excited. So excited. It's going to happen at the end of May. My train leaves on Tuesday the 27th. I come back on Saturday the 31st, and I imagine that I will have piles and piles of books to maybe talk to you about. If you're interested, let me know in the chatter thread. But I'm really excited about BEA. Looking forward to it. So, with that in mind, I just wanted to let you know that the next episode is probably going to air a little bit early because my train leaves on Tuesday morning at 7 a.m. and so I'm not waking up at 4 to record on Tuesday. So it's probably going to show up on Monday, which I can't imagine that you guys are going to be too heartbroken about. No? No? Didn't think so. So that's that. Okay, guys, well, finishes, works in progress, so much stash. This is insane. I'm starting to lose my voice, so I'm going to go ahead and cut it down and send you off. I will see you guys next week, or next podcast. I hope that you enjoy your next couple of weeks. Be sure to chat us up in the threads. I'd love to get some discussion going. And I am really looking forward to seeing what you guys work on. Alright guys, I'll see you next time. Bye.